Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to week 8 of Unshackled with Tash. Hope you enjoyed the 6 core needs last week. They're very confronting for a lot of people. I know that in my own program, I sometimes have people that fight me, like really fight me on those core needs because they don't understand how they've allowed external factors to fill them. And when you actually sit and do the work and unpack particular behaviours, they actually start to see it, and then they get more cranky because they didn't see it the week before or whatever. But guys, the core needs, like I said, they're in everything we do and every day. Like there's no exceptions. Everybody is driven by their core needs. So I highly recommend and highly suggest that you find ways to fulfill them yourself so that you are not at the mercy of everybody else. This week, we're going to talk about boundaries, another one of my favourite topics. And our boundaries are often determined by our childhood. So, what our nervous system is used to. And we don't have boundaries because we don't know how to set them. Okay, they're rules we create. And often if you weren't shown boundaries as a child, you will sure as hell not know what a boundary is in your later years. Teenage, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, relationships, workplaces, things like that. You will not know what boundaries are. But if you were brought up in a home that was emotionally available, emotionally stable, emotionally loving, and allowed you to have boundaries, then I take my absolute hat off to you and you won the lotto, because there's not many people that had that. And people can say, yeah, I had a great childhood, but were you able to set a boundary? Were you able to say no? Do you know, and in my vintage, we had to kiss everyone. We had to let everyone hug us. We had to kiss the dirty old uncle or the person that thought he was our uncle, or let them cuddle us and things like that. No way. I see that so differently now, and I absolutely, I look at my daughter with her girls, and she teaches them manners and whatnot. But if they don't want to kiss someone or say, or go and hug someone, she does not make them. Whereas we were forced to do that. And I love that she gives them those boundaries. They are always polite, don't get me wrong, but she does not force anything onto them, which obviously was very different in my upbringing. Some of the reasons that we don't set boundaries is fear. We fear, not belonging. We fear being pushed aside. We fear not being loved. We fear not being, a part of the community. We people please because we want to belong. We want to be loved. We want to be validated. We want to feel significant. We want to have all those core needs met. And the problem is we don't set boundaries usually out of fear. Fear of upsetting someone, fear of them not talking to you, fear of the ramifications, the silent treatment. Like, that's really shitty, right? But you think about your background. You think about where you haven't set boundaries. Where do you need to start saying no to others but yes to yourself? You don't ever think of that, do you? How many times have you sat there and went, I just don't want to go and I don't want to pick up the phone and I'm sick of being the only one that makes the effort. But you go because you don't want to upset them and because you don't want to cause any trouble, or you don't want to, look like an arsehole, whatever. Say no where it doesn't serve you. Say no where it's not reciprocated. Start saying yes to yourself, right? There's a book, and I can't remember what it's called, but it was given, this information was given to me by one of my amazing clients. And there's 4 archetypes when it comes to boundaries. And there's the pleaser, There's the avoider, there's the hustler, and there's the yeller. And they all have a response. And the pleaser is a fawn response. The avoider is the freeze. The hustler is the flight, and the yeller is the fight. And what happens is if you have those core beliefs which give us these archetypes, you are going to keep responding in those ways. And you're not going to know how to set a boundary, right? But a boundary is not just to keep people in, it's also to keep people out, it's also to keep people in. And when you set the boundaries that are healthy from love and not from fear, your life will change dramatically, right? So what happens is when you start to set boundaries, like saying no, okay, I'll give you an example. Work. When we have no boundaries at work and the boss keeps pushing us to do something, and you know that it's not part of your job description, and you know that you're not paid to do that, but they make you feel guilty, so you do it. That's a boundary. That's not in your job description. That's not what your criteria was. You didn't sign up for that. That's a boundary. They're actually looking at the fact that you're either an empath or a weaker person or somebody that doesn't know how to say no. So they're going to push it. They're going to use it to their advantage, right? The people that don't like your boundaries are the people that have benefited from you not having any. And you will get pushback. You'll get resistance. They'll say you've changed. And yeah, you have, because a lot changed you. I got that heaps because I was the biggest people pleaser in the world. Everybody that knows me knows that I would give up everything to help anyone. And again, that was my core needs being met of validation, significance, love and connection. And I gave up time with my family, my husband, my real close friends. Like, I would put myself anywhere to be validated and felt significant because they were massive childhood wounds for me. Boundaries are empowering. Boundaries are about respecting yourself and not abandoning yourself. Boundaries are gatekeepers, right? They're like the bouncer at the door of the club. We decide what comes in and what doesn't, right? Your boundaries are going to give you your values and your standards. Because with little boundaries, which is what I had very low value and standards. And ask yourself, where are you lacking boundaries? Do the people in your life bring you value? Is there reciprocation? It's like a bank, guys. It's like a bank account. The withdrawals have to match the deposits. If you are pouring into someone and someone constantly pouring into someone and it's not coming back, that's a really unbalanced account. Because here's the thing, a healthy friendship goes both ways. And boundaries are there for a reason. If you know yourself that you are lacking in boundaries, be really radically honest with yourself. And if you had one thing that you could change today, what would it be? Be really honest. Be clear about the boundary. Ask yourself, which one of the core needs are you trying to fulfill by not having this boundary? They're the most difficult thing to do and change. They're really, really testing and trying for people because they've never done them and they don't want to not belong and they don't want to be part of the tribe. Because remember, in the caveman days, if you weren't a part of the tribe, you died, right? That's not the case, guys. Self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, growth will give you boundaries. And yeah, you're going to lose a lot of people. I'm sorry, but you will. Boundaries show you who should be in your life and who doesn't fit there anymore. And, everyone has a different set of values and standards. But for me, loyalty is a big thing, and when it's not reciprocated and it's not, a balance, then that, for me, that's a boundary, right? There's 4 types of boundary, okay? And the 4 types of boundaries are emotional, time, topics, and physical. Now, your emotional boundaries, they come down to your relationships, your workplaces, your family, your friendships, supporting family dysfunction. When you know that something's not right, but you're bullied into sticking to what the family says we have to do. If you know that it's just not how you want to live your life anymore, but you're ostracised, that's where you have to go, well, I choose not to live that life anymore, and I'm going to do something different. It's the family blackmailing, the sibling conflict, doing jobs at work that, like I said before, that aren't part of your job description, working overtime and not being paid, and them just saying, we'll make up for it somewhere else. No, I'm paid from whatever time it is to that time. I'm out of here. I've got a family to go to. That's my boundary. But people don't do it because they fear losing their job. If people only knew you can't lose your job like that, because there's rules, there's regulations, there's something there to protect you. And if a boss wants to, abuse you in that way, like abuse your character by using that against you, that's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. They're taking advantage, that's the word, taking advantage of you. That's not okay. That's not okay. So that's where you've got to step up and go, no, that's a boundary for me. The next one is time. Your time's precious, guys. People just assume because you're either single, got no kids, or your kids have grown up, or you've got no partner or whatever, that you've got plenty of time. Well, no, my time's precious. I still have stuff that I want to do, and there's things that are a priority to me. And just because I'm not partnered or I don't have any kids at home anymore doesn't mean that I've got all the time in the world to do what you want me to do. Happy to help out when I've got time, happy to be available when I have time. But again, my time is precious. It's like the other one, because you're somebody who was always a giver, and you're always, were the people pleaser, and suddenly you want to set boundaries on that. People then start to question your friendship or your strength in who you are and what you used to do. This again goes back to your significance. What needs needed to be met, what was feeling safe, all those things that you used to say yes to, but you now realise that don't benefit you, and you'll only say yes to the things that benefit you and not to please everybody else. That's a big one. Sorry, that was a little bit mixed up there because I was trying to make a statement and I couldn't find the word that I was looking for. So anyway, I'm sure that made sense to you. Another one is topics. Religion, politics, money. They're topics people don't often want to talk about. And, there's nothing wrong with, or even relationships. People don't want to be sitting there listening to someone rag out their partner or tell people how shitty things are. And trust me, I've been there, done it. I look back to some of the conversations I used to have and, oh man, I wish I knew this stuff a long, long time ago. But I remember an incident not long after I had started doing this work, and I was really uncomfortable about a topic that was being spoken about, and it was very triggering. So I asked for the conversation to end, and I was made to feel like the idiot. I was made to feel like the fool, and I couldn't remove myself because we were away. And I still remember it just was really yuck. It was a horrible, triggering conversation, and I asked for it to be stopped, and it didn't. It made everything a little bit uncomfortable, but I was true enough to myself to say, hey, I'm not comfortable here. This is not something I want to talk about. That's just, another example. Like, don't buy into the gossip. Don't buy into the religion and the politics and all of that sort of stuff at the moment. Don't buy into people's money conversations, If you can't remove yourself from the conversation, try your best just to switch off. Don't even look elsewhere. Pick up something to read. But most of the times you can remove yourself. And the other one is physical, right? And when I say physical, cars, clothes, jewelry, shoes, your personal items. People just assume that they can borrow stuff from you and you're going to be okay with it. But they don't look after it. They don't return it. They're just in demand of it. They just assume that it's okay. So they just say, oh, you don't mind if I take your car? You don't mind if I borrow that dress or shoes or clothes or whatever? You just want to say no because they don't look after your stuff the way you do. You don't get it back in time. But you're so afraid to say no because you fear rejection and you fear that you're not going to belong or you're not going to be asked out anymore. But this is where you've got to ask yourself, guys, what core needs being met here? Like, what core need is it that we're trying to fill to keep everybody else happy? Like, who's looking after your needs? Who's looking after your safe space? If you're not, no one else is. So boundaries are really, really important, and they're fundamental in growth. Okay? And these are the things of setting boundaries. It's not belonging, rejection, not being respected, being offending or being, feeling worried that you're going to offend someone. Fallouts of friendships, losing people, they can be confronting. But here's the thing. The people that accept your boundaries are the people that respect you and love you and will be in your life. The less boundaries we have, the more masks we wear. Right? If you start to acknowledge where you need to start set some boundaries, you will start to see your life change. But if you continue to people please and self-sabotage and self-abandon because you want to, have all those core needs met externally, that's a really tough life, guys. You're always in control of, other people are in control of your life. Do what works for you. Do what benefits you. Be with people that, give you value and are reciprocating. Stop putting all this time, effort and energy into people that wouldn't give you the time of day. And like I said, when you stop making the effort, when you stop putting in all the hard work, when you stop making the phone calls and the texts and the, trying to catch up with people, you soon see who's in your world and you soon see where the effort was made. And again, this is not a judgment. This is just human nature. And it is just part of growing. So guys, really start to look at where you could be setting some boundaries, because boundaries are a game changer, and everyone that knows me knows that that's one of the first things I get you to work on is your boundaries. So there's some stuff to think about. Really sit there and ask, where am I not setting healthy boundaries with people? Where am I saying yes to everyone else but no to me? And where should I be saying no and yes to me? Have a great week, everyone.